What's up, guys? I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to talk about the RuneScape lore for a very long time, and today it's finally going to happen. I figured a good way to start out would be to talk about the lore of some of the more popular kingdoms that exist throughout Gielinor. But first, what exactly is a kingdom? A kingdom is an often seen form of government in many regions of Gielinor, where a king or queen or similar titles such as pharaoh rules the region. The regions are generally inhabited and ruled by one of several races of RuneScape. Keeping that bit of information in mind, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Number 5. The Dwarven Realm Kingdom. Covering the entire Third Age, the Gielinorian God Wars have long since forced the dwarves to live underground due to the catastrophic amounts of damage that were dealt on the surface many years ago. Since the God Wars have passed, the dwarves have intelligently assembled mines, cities, camps, and complicated tunnel systems. All of these areas across the underground of Gielinor are considered to be a part of the Dwarven Realm. Because of the extensive damage and destruction during the 4th and early 5th Ages, most dwarves were hostile towards the races on the surface and denied them access to virtually any land under their control. The progress of the 5th Age has gradually, though, seen an increase in openness between the Dwarven Realm and other nations. From the years 42 to the year 62, the Runecrafting Crusades, which were a series of armed invasions led by the Fremennik warrior Gunnar in the 5th Age, have caused some halt in the dwarves' diplomacy, mainly because of the Crusades slaughtering almost all of the Candor dwarves, and because of them starting what is known to be called the Battle of Camdazal. This battle was an armed conflict between the Dwarven Hall of Camdazal and an anti-magic Fremennik group who became increasingly angry with the use of magic in the world of Gielinor, believing that rune stones were to be used only by the gods. After all the wars ceased, relations began to restore. 100 years later, the War of 164 particularly helped to strengthen ties between the Kingdom of Asgar Nia and the Dwarven Realm, eventually culminating in the establishment of the Mining Guild. In the year 169, the Dorgish Khan Keldegrim train system was established, allowing for new trade between the Dorgishun and the dwarves. Today, the Dwarven Realm and its neighbors are, for the most part, very open with each other, although some groups such as the Ham and the Red Axe oppose this. At the moment, few areas of the Dwarven Realm are open to humans, although more have been added throughout the course of the game. Number 4. The Gnome Empire Kingdom. The Gnome Empire is a monarchical region, meaning the kingdom is ruled by a king or a queen, and it sits on the surface of Gielinor within the human nations of Candor as well as Karamja. The empire is not referred to as an actual empire on the world map, and it is not often recognized by players, but it has been named as such by various gnomes, the most prominent of which perhaps is Glofri the Untrusted, who was once the greatest gnome wizard of the 4th Age. Although it was once much larger, as of the year 169 of the 5th Age, the Gnome Empire consists mostly of 2 settlements, the Tree Gnome Stronghold northwest of Ardoin and the Tree Gnome Village northwest of Yanil. The Gnome Empire was first established during the 1st Age, but has changed in nature and leaderships many times since. It was at first on good terms with the elven nation of Taranun, but that relationship was destroyed during the cataclysmic God Wars. The gnomes later resurfaced during the 4th Age, at which point they re-established their 2 largest settlements I spoke of earlier. The elves were forced to leave the region of the gnomes in the year 1930 of the 4th Age due to the Elven Civil War, which was a conflict between the 8 different clans of Taranun, which lasted all the way up to year 1 of the 6th Age. During the Elves' Civil Wars, the Gnome Empire extended to cover most of what is now the Kingdom of Candor, although they mostly left the humans of Ardoin in peace. In the year 1950 of the 4th Age, the Battle of Atari Sundry had commenced. It was a battle between the gnomes that decided to settle in northern Candor and the tribe of the Thorobshun goblins that inhabited the areas in the south during that time. Sometime after the battle, the empire began to weaken due to a disestablished government and because of the soldiers of the Majorat General Khazard. By the early 5th Age, the empire had shrunk considerably, primarily due to human settlers and attacks suffered by General Khazard's army. Those unfortunate turn of events largely contributed to the Gnome Empire splitting in 2, forming the Tree Gnome Village as well as the Tree Gnome Stronghold. Today, the Gnome Empire remains a powerful kingdom, but remains comparatively small geographically to the amount of territory it used to inhabit. Number 3. The Candoran Kingdom. Candoran is the youngest but largest known province of Gielinor, founded less than a century ago and currently ruled by King Thoros of East Ardoin. Unlike any other human nation, there's a democratic government in Ardoin, which is the Ardoin Ardoin City Council. The council, however, is weak compared to the monarchy. It encompasses most of the lands west of White Wolf Mountain. Candor is bordered by another mighty kingdom, Asgar Nia, to the east, the Fremennik province towards the north, and the forests of Toronun to the west, and the Feldip Hills to the south. Candor is a very wealthy kingdom, and nearly as powerful as the kingdom of Stalin. It gathers much of its wealth through industries in places such as Sears Village and Yanil, and it also trades with many of its bordering nations. It's even claimed that Candor has connections far west where not many humans have ventured to. Despite all of these great attributes, Candor faces many problems. In the year 136 of the Fifth Age, the former king, King Ulthus, died in a hunting accident without stating who his heir would be. His two sons, Lathus and Tyrus, split the city between them today. The division in leadership left the city weakened, and threats of ogres in the south increased crime in East Ardoin, and even sea trolls on the northwest coast are causing problems for King Lathus today too. Even more disastrous than this, King Tyrus, Lathus' brother, has abandoned his part of the city to a terrible plague after leaving for a crusade in the elven lands of Toronun. West Ardoin is now under quarantine, and many of its citizens believe that King Tyrus caused the plague himself somehow. However, none of the citizens themselves have ever been able to prove this, and the strict hold that the mourners have over the city almost makes it impossible for really anybody to ever be able to find out the truth. Number 2, the Kingdom of Asgar Nia. Asgar Nia is one of the main kingdoms of the RuneScape world. Asgar Nia's primary economic activities are crafting, mining, and fishing. It also has a notable navy based in Port Sarim. It is ruled over supposedly by King Valence and Prince Anlof, however they have recently vanished from the public life, and Sir Amic Vars of Falador and his opposition Denilth of Berthorpe have taken their place. Some players believe that the White Knights are not telling the full truth about themselves, and even Juna, a guardian of Guthix, also warns players about this. Asgar Nia is also the possible home of the Temple Knights headquarters and recruitment center. Contrary to popular belief, Draenor Village and Edgeville are not actually located in Asgar Nia. They're actually towns of the Kingdom of Stalin instead. Most of Asgar Nia has a temperate climate, with a handful of exceptions. Ice Mountain, for example, is cold enough to be permanently covered with snow due to its height, and the southernmost end of Asgar Nia contains Mudskipper Point, which has a tropical climate. Asgar Nia has always been a nation that encourages chivalry and duty, and it was a stronghold of Sarah Doman during the God Wars. Therefore, it seems fitting that the White Knights and Temple Knights have made Falador, the capital city of Asgar Nia, their home, as well as druids worshipping in Taverley for as long as everybody can remember. The dwarves have even built a large network of underground tunnels and are tolerated by the people of Asgar Nia. However, not everyone has been known to get on with their ideas. The Berthorpe Imperial Guard have always fancied running Asgar Nia themselves, supported by the Crown Prince. The Black Knights also have a heavily protected fortress to the north, and it's only because of the endless endeavors of adventurers to foil their plans that they have not wrought havoc and destruction. Although normally a quiet nation, Asgar Nia has had its fair share of problems to deal with. Growing numbers of those who worship Zamorak gather nearby, and the strong ancient fortifications of Falador may be needed in the future to keep Zamorak's power from within its walls. Number 1. The Kingdom of Stalin. This major kingdom within Gielinor is currently ruled by King Rold III and Queen Elamaria. Stalin is the most powerful human nation and by far the oldest, having existed prominently since the late Fourth Age, and its capital Varrock having existed in some form since soon after the end of the God Wars. Stalin's primary economic activities are smithing, mining, and trading. It's divided in half by the River Lum, and its eastern border with Mauritania is the River Salve. Most of its territory that does exists as free-to-play areas too. Stalin has a mild climate, allowing a wide range of plant life to grow upon it. To the north, the climate is colder, with evergreen trees growing in wild abundance. In the south, the climate is more mild, with oaks and willows. Water is always close by too, with bodies of water scattered around. The kingdom is a monarchy ruled by King Rold, and other rulers such as Lumbridge's Duke Horacio are apparent, who probably served King Rold in a semi-feudal fashion. The kingdom is, or at least once was, fully ruled through feudalism, as evidenced by Polonius, the first Duke of Lumbridge from the Fourth Age. It's a free country now, though, with many open policies, while still having a semi-strict and strongly enforced bill of laws for rights and defense. Throughout RuneScape's history, no other kingdom has been more stronger than Stalin, suffering ever since the First Age, and almost having been completely wiped out during the Third Age when the God Wars first took place. Even though it has seen some very bad history for thousands of years, there has also never been any other kingdom that has rebuilt itself only to become one of the most major kingdoms that still thrive today despite hardship too. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed these little short summaries of the lore behind some of the major kingdoms in RuneScape. I really liked making this video, and I learned a lot while I did it. Things I never knew about RuneScape for the 10 years that I've been playing. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something too, and that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll talk to you guys later.